Hi, welcome to my early July patio garden tour for zone 6B. You saw my spider plant just a moment ago, and here is my oregano that's recuperating from way too much rain. Also, you can see my parsley got nailed. These pots don't drain well enough. And then I made a 5-seed mix that I've basically sprinkled in everywhere. I got a lot of these spring onions planted into the ground, into the raised bed, and to various other containers such as this one. Again, more of that 5-seed mix. I actually pulled up some purslane from the front yard and tried to repot that. My pea is still hanging on there. Still got some tomatoes going for succession planting, and lots of additions of green beans in every nook and cranny of this garden. So those are the spring onions that I told you I planted in the raised bed. You can see the rosemary in the kind of the back middle at this point. Emerald Towers basil doing amazing. That rosemary's not getting enough sun and it's getting too much water. That's why it's still very, very small. Thai basil doing great. Loving putting that on my Thai soups and loving eating all the basil. Definitely a basil girl. I pruned back my strawberries because they stopped producing and they're not supposed to be, so I also gave them some fertilizer. My kind of neglected little mint patch over here to the side. There's a green bean. This garden is changing every single day. Just planted some, again, more succession tomatoes and then cucumbers starting in places where I had some tomatoes that just didn't get enough sunlight and or water and just weren't doing that great. I went ahead and ripped those out, which used to be I would never do that. But now I get the kind of the trade-off and the benefit cost opportunity. Here are my radishes still hanging on in the heat, trying to simulate some cooler weather down there underneath the shade. Dill's hanging in there. Planted some spring onions and 5-seed mix around the dill to help soak up some of that excess water. I think I got a little wet tomato down there. I'm not even worried about like where do I have enough. I'm just like, I'm not necessarily that organized. A little bit of chaos gardening. A lot of suckers that produced into, again, kind of succession planting some tomatoes. That was my basil. It's hanging on for dear life from the rain, excess rain. That thyme you just saw is doing amazing. These fabric bags, went ahead and filled them all up. My rosemary, that one's hanging in there. Some of these little suckers don't make it, but that's okay. For everyone that does make it, that's 5-seed blend right there, 5-seed mix. It's like radishes. I'll try to tell you later what it is at some point. Experiment of 2 cucumbers in 1 fabric bag. These are a little bit spaced apart. I've got another 2 cucumbers in 1 bag that are a little closer together. Most of the other ones you can see here, cucumbers are just in one, one per pot. Scarlet begonia is doing amazing in this shade, in this little table thing that my son built. I just keep it rotated. There's the other purslane, the bigger patch. I was searching and searching for purslane and I kept finding spurge and it was really annoying, but I finally found some purslane in my front yard. More tomatoes, more cucumbers. I did some rearranging. We put up a trellis. I'm going to call it my cucumber trellis, even though I think it's called a squash trellis. And then our spikes, more cucumber. That pot is probably a little too small, but again, I'm not planning ahead. I'm just throwing stuff wherever I can fit it in and trying to fertilize and water as much as possible because it's pots. And those guys get a little shade there. I need to refill my butterfly watering. Zinnias are doing well in this spot. They're also creating some shade for the cucumbers and stuff down below, soaking up all the sun. Still have to water those pretty frequently since they are in tiny little pots. My new blackberry plant. Say hello to my new best friend. So more zinnias. I believe that's a green bean there in a very unconventional planter. Cucumber, that one's got a little damage on it. We've got of course, our cherry tomatoes still going strong. I just can't ever wait until they're fully ripe before I have to pull them off, just because I don't want anything else to get them. Or my cucumber is doing amazing. I pruned it back pretty heavily. I realized, you know, the side vines weren't doing very well. I actually had one on there that I didn't notice, and I got it off. So I think I've had about 4 cucumbers now off this one plant that's in a tiny pot. So it's climbing all the way up. It's way taller than me. It's just climbing up that peach tree like mad. And my better boys, I think I call them big boys, my petunias, green pepper. I'm not sure if it'll turn red when there's the other green pepper. Taking a little damage there. I'm not the best pepper grower, and again, that's a tiny pot. Got some more sunflowers planted, another cucumber, more better boys. Better boys and cherry tomatoes are the only tomatoes that I did this year, and I'm very happy with my choice. I've been actually eating the better boys every day since the day before the 4th of July. I've been having like 2 or 3, so kind of the smaller ones. Again, I pull them off and have them ripen up on the windowsill, and I'm just loving it. Those are probably some of the ones maybe that I ate. Oh, you can see my bag hanging for shade on my spikes that came with my trellis. More tomatoes. There was impatiens. I keep on forgetting to name those flowers in the corner. More sunflowers. Just went a little crazy with them. Again, didn't know where I was going to put them, but I just kept on finding, you know, spots. And since the ground has been so wet, I've been able to dig up little holes and then kind of add some potting mix and whatnot. There's my jalapeno. Got 2 more that I'll probably need to pick pretty soon. Pepper there. They're getting a lot of afternoon sun. They're drying out too much. That is a nice sunflower taken off there, like in that spot. Some other, just handfuls of different varieties of these sunflowers. That was a jalapeno again. Different variety of sunflower yet again. Some other stragglers here. Wow, this is even more than I remember. I thought we were at the end. So yeah, loving the sunflowers. So unfortunately, here we're rounding about towards the front here. I've got my spikes and pampas grass, and I used to have, and marigolds, not zinnias, as I mistakenly said last video. Now this sunflower freaking ceases to exist. It got chopped off today, which is the day after I filmed this, actually, by a careless lawnmower. So loving the terracotta stakes there with the water. I think it really helps for these, although they were getting just eaten up by pests. I've been really bad about, and it's been so wet that it's been hard to really keep anything on the plants as far as pest control. Of course, I would try to use like a diatomaceous earth. There's my rosemary, zinnias, sunflowers, lavender, iris. Did not flower this year on my irises, which was before I built this up. So next year, hopefully I get some more irises again. Peperonia, I believe, if I'm not getting that mistaken. My phlox, more lavender. I'm sure I skipped something in there. Oh, and I just looked up what this is. I can't remember. I will put it in the comments below. And more scarlet begonias, some of my favorites. And then golden solana and more lavender kind of hanging in there. And then we should have a few more irises. My best pepper. It's funny because my biggest pepper pot is doing just as good as my smallest pepper pot, and the ones in the middle are not doing that well. But again, this is my Rio Grande